Coronation Street's Sydney Martin jokes Mum says no after co-star shuts down love life query. Sydney Martin, who appears in Coronation Street, amused fans by saying Mum says no when revealing her co-star's blunt reply to a question about her character's possible romance. Viewers will recognize her as Betsy Swain in the ITV soap. Sydney first appeared last summer as the daughter of DS Lisa Swain, making it her first television role. At first, she was introduced as a friend of Sabrina Adetiba, but it later came out that she was actually Lisa's child, with actress Vicky Myers only becoming a full-time cast member earlier in 2024. Looking ahead, upcoming episodes hint that Betsy and Dylan Wilson will develop romantic tension. Longtime fans might remember that the two teens previously acted on their feelings 6 months earlier. Their friendship was already strong, and Mason Radcliffe's death pushed them even closer. Later, while Dylan awaited the outcome of his knife possession charge linked to Maddie and Logan Radcliffe's fatal attack on their brother, the pair's connection turned romantic with a kiss. Now, new spoilers suggest their bond will grow again, even though Betsy appears to be heading for a dangerous accident. In August, Corey released a trailer teasing several dramatic plots for September. In the preview, Betsy is distracted on her phone and doesn't notice a car racing up behind her. The vehicle is being driven by Brody Michaelis and Dylan Wilson, who are involved in a car theft scheme organized by Carl Webster. Meanwhile, Sydney has been teasing fans about Betsy's potential love life. In an interview clip, she was asked if Betsy was more likely to fall for Dylan or Brody. Posting the moment on Instagram, Sydney added, "Who do you want Betsy to end up with?" and launched a poll for followers to vote. But it seems she didn't expect her on-screen mum, Vicky Myers, to weigh in. Vicky sent her a message with a one-word answer: neither. Sydney reacted with crying and laughing emojis before sharing the exchange on her Instagram story, joking, "Mum says no boys allowed." Coronation Street unveils Brookside star's surprise role as explosive mediation scenes unfold. Tonight's episode of Coronation Street brings an unexpected treat for longtime soap fans as Brookside legend Sarah White makes a special guest appearance. Her arrival comes during a tense chapter in Theo and Danielle Silverton's turbulent divorce storyline, which has already gripped viewers with its messy mix of bitterness, betrayal, and emotional fallout. In the episode, the estranged couple agree to attend a formal mediation session in an attempt to keep their divorce as civil as possible and to avoid dragging their children through a courtroom battle. Their hope of reaching an amicable solution quickly falls apart, however, when emotions run high. The pair are introduced to their mediator, Dina, a calm but firm professional tasked with guiding them through the process. Sharp-eyed soap fans will recognize her instantly as Bev Dixon from Brookside, a role Sarah White portrayed for an entire decade before the Channel 4 soap was taken off air in 2003. Her return to the small screen has already sparked nostalgic chatter online, with many praising Corey for the clever casting choice. But the nostalgic moment quickly gives way to chaos. As the mediation begins, Theo is taken aback when Noah Headley strolls into the room and takes a seat beside Danielle. To Theo's horror, Dina explains that Danielle has personally requested Noah's presence, arguing that his input is necessary. This move instantly unsettles Theo, who has clashed with Noah before, and sets the tone for the fiery session that follows. Theo attempts to stay composed, focusing on practical matters such as custody schedules and living arrangements for their children. However, Noah repeatedly provokes him, raising his voice and making pointed accusations. At one point, Noah accuses Theo of assaulting him, and then claims Danielle has raised serious concerns about Theo's behavior as a husband and father. Danielle seizes the opportunity to echo Noah's sentiments, bluntly declaring to Dina, "I simply can't trust him to look after my children," before reeling off a list of Theo's supposed shortcomings. With Danielle piling on criticism, Theo's temper finally snaps. He lashes out verbally, accusing Danielle of being selfish and uninterested in their children's well-being, suggesting she cares only about herself. Dina tries to defuse the situation, firmly reminding them that mediation is about finding the best path forward for their family, but her words fall on deaf ears. By this point, the confrontation has spiraled far beyond repair, leaving the future of the Silverton family hanging in the balance. Later in the episode, Theo returns home seething. His frustration only deepens when he learns that Todd has been spending the evening drinking at the Rovers with Billy Mayhew, seemingly without a care for the disastrous mediation session. Fueled by jealousy, anger, and alcohol, Theo briefly contemplates storming over to the pub to confront Todd publicly. Instead, he waits until Todd comes home, where his simmering rage finally boils over. What follows are some of the darkest and most disturbing scenes Corey has aired in recent months. Theo verbally tears into Todd, hurling insults before turning physically violent. The shocking outburst leaves Todd shaken and confused, as he has no idea what triggered Theo's fury. Though Todd desperately tries to calm the situation by apologizing and attempting to smooth things over, Theo cruelly informs him that it's too late. He's already packed his bags, like signaling the start of an even more destructive chapter in their fractured relationship. Disturbing Theo abuse scenes in early Coronation Street ITVX drop leave Todd horrified. Theo Silverton's explosive temper spiraled completely out of control in tonight's early release of Coronation Street on ITVX, culminating in a deeply unsettling outburst against his partner, Todd Grimshaw. The shocking scenes marked a grim new chapter in their troubled relationship and left fans shaken. It had already been a heavy and emotional day for both men. Todd was reeling from the heartbreak of attending a particularly difficult funeral, while Theo had been pushed to his limits at a mediation session with ex-wife Danielle. Tensions were high in the meeting, with Danielle insisting she wanted full custody of their children. Theo, in contrast, argued for a 50-50 split, though his resolve was tested further when Danielle turned up with her new partner Noah by her side. The choice of company was especially cruel. Longtime viewers will recall that Noah subjected Theo to harrowing conversion therapy when he was younger, a trauma that continues to haunt him. Since reappearing, Noah has steadily wormed his way into Danielle's life, and by extension, into Theo's family, even after discovering Theo's romance with Todd. By the time Theo returned home from the disastrous mediation, he was raw and shaken, desperate for support. But instead of comfort, he discovered Todd had chosen to unwind at the Rovers. Over the phone, Theo's frustration bubbled up as Todd admitted where he was. Though Theo insisted he didn't want Todd to rush home, the bitterness in his voice was clear. Hours passed, and as Todd showed no sign of returning, Theo numbed himself with alcohol, drinking alone until his resentment reached boiling point. Eventually, he stormed to the pub to find Todd. From a distance, Theo's fury deepened as he spotted Todd laughing with Billy Mayhew and chatting to other neighbors. Already insecure about Todd's closeness with the local vicar, Theo seethed silently before turning on his heel and leaving without confrontation. Later that night, Todd returned home, thoughtful enough to bring dinner for Theo in the form of a late-night kebab. Instead of gratitude, he was met with scorn. Theo sneered at the gesture, mocking Todd's food choice and launching into a tirade about how he had been left alone during the hardest day of his life while Todd was enjoying himself with Billy. Things escalated when Todd tried to comfort him. Theo snapped, violently swatting Todd's hand away and hissing at him never to touch his face again. From there, the abuse only worsened. Theo berated his boyfriend with cruel insults, broke him down with cutting words, and in a disturbing twist, force-fed him pieces of the kebab while Todd struggled helplessly. When the tirade finally ended, Theo delivered one final blow. He revealed he had packed a bag and declared coldly that he was leaving, insisting he never wanted to see Todd again. Now fans are left asking the burning question, is Theo truly gone? Or is this only the beginning of even darker behavior to come? Coronation Street airs on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 p.m. on ITV1 and streams on ITVX.